This week on the Flop Factor, we will go over contract extensions across the NBA, pick out standout rookies of preseason, and pick games across the league for the opening week of the NBA season. The Flop Factor starts now. Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Flop Factor. I'm Cody Burton, and joining me once again is RJ Rice, Brayden Laszlo, and DJ McDermott. The NBA season begins tomorrow, people. We've almost made it through the incredible offseason of the NBA, and now we're here. Banner nights tomorrow for the Oklahoma City Thunder, the reigning champions, going against the Houston Rockets. After that game on NBC and Peacock, it will be the Golden State Warriors taking on Luka Doncic and the Los Angeles Lakers. But first, there's some breaking news we have to report. First thing, Russ went to Sacktown. Russell Westbrook, Sacramento King. Doug Christie says they're going to let Russ be Russ. Any takeaways for that one?
I mean, that's kind of what you should be. I mean, especially for Russell Westbrook. I mean, you've seen his production. I mean, yes, it has gone down compared to the Thunder, triple-double averaging MVP years. But, I mean, I will say, especially for Sacramento, who have a very interesting guard depth, because Dennis Schroeder is going to be starting at point guard, then Keon Ellis at shooting guard. I mean, if you use that as a backup point guard or even just a wing or a piece just to have that you can have for the guards, I think is a great addition for him. I mean, it wasn't expensive. I mean, $3.6 million, which is the vet minimum contract. I think helps them especially up on the books, and also makes Sacramento just a little bit more competitive. Gives them a little bit of that veteran mentorship that I think some of their players could really use.
Honestly, yeah, I think the biggest thing for me was a post that I saw on Instagram, and it's each coach over the past 3 years has said a very similar statement about Russell Westbrook. Obviously, this year it was Doug Christie saying, I just want Russ to be Russ. Last year it was Michael Malone, former Nuggets head coach, saying, I still want Russell to be Russell. And then in 2023, it was Ty Lue saying, we want Russ to be Russ. So it seems like every coach kind of already has this game plan in mind for what they want Russell Westbrook to be. And I really hope they don't limit Russell Westbrook, because obviously we've seen throughout his career that once he does what he needs to do, those teams go on to succeed, and he eventually finds his role in those offenses. And I think he could do the same thing for the Sacramento Kings this season.
Yeah, and to your point, DJ, Russell Westbrook's one of those players where you can't really put in a box. His playmaking ability is second to none in the NBA, obviously in the latter half of his career. But, man, Russell Westbrook is one of those guys you definitely want on your squad. He's a great leader, gets teammates involved, and especially with a roster like the Kings have, I think he'll fit in really nice. He's got playmakers down low with Domantas Sabonis. He's got Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, even Dennis Schroeder, another veteran point guard. So guys like Keon Ellis, Malik Monk, Devin Carter, Nick Clifford, they're going to learn a lot from guys like Dennis Schroeder and especially Russell Westbrook, who's won MVP and been in the playoffs a numerous amount of times.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to think where Sacramento may go with for their depth chart, for their lineup, for what lineups they run, because currently ESPN has their starting lineup as Dennis Schroeder, Keon Ellis, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Domantas Sabonis, with Russell Westbrook, Malik Monk, Nick Clifford, Isaac Jones, and Drew Eubanks coming off the bench. That's a solid 10-man rotation right there. Isaac Jones is a intriguing prospect. Drew Eubanks has always put up big numbers on tanking teams. Would like to see him do something more on a team trying to compete, but it's really to think about 8 years ago or so. Dennis Schroeder was the backup point guard for Russell Westbrook when he was on the Oklahoma City Thunder, and now it's more than likely going to be the other way around. Russell Westbrook on a veteran 1-year contract. Dennis Schroeder got signed to a $50 million contract this offseason. And I'm a big Keon Ellis fan. I would really want to see if they decide to have Keon Ellis off the bench as that bench point guard, or if they want to go with Russell Westbrook as the bench point guard and just run 2 point guards in that lineup. But Keon Ellis, he's always found a way to just be one of those young role players that I've just loved. He always finds a way to torch the Thunder when I watch the Sacramento Kings play against Oklahoma City, and this is a very interesting lineup. That's all I'm going to say. This is an interesting team. Like DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Domantas Sabonis is a intriguing big three to begin with. Like, it's a bunch of guys that are all like fringe all-stars all together on the same team. Dennis Schroeder adding to that in the mix, and a Russell Westbrook in year 18 also in the mix. Now Malik Monk's always going to be a six-man of the year candidate as well. So the Kings are in a very deep Western Conference, but you never know. This is a team that can sneak into the play-in, maybe sneak into a playoff appearance, but I mean, every team has the same ideas except for maybe the Brooklyn Nets at this point in the season, where they believe they can contend. They want to go and win some games, but we'll see how this works out for the rest of the way. Now, moving on, a lot of rookies, well, not rookies, a lot of young players got their rookie max extensions and their rookie scale extension contracts this past week, as it was been around the time before the season starts is whenever it's time for those to be due for an extension. First one, Kevin Durant. He's not a rookie or a young player to begin with, but he got signed to a 2-year, $90 million? Mm-hmm. The $90 million contract extension this offseason. It was yesterday, and that he got signed to that. And, I mean, before even playing a game for the Rockets know 2-time Finals MVP, 15-time All-Star. We want this guy to be the veteran superstar. I mean, someone who's been at this for a long time, been on contending teams throughout his career, looking to win another championship, his first, not with the Golden State Warriors, with the Rockets this season. And now, per Shams Charania, Kevin Durant now holds the record for the highest career earnings in NBA history at $598.2 million based on current and future salaries, surpassing LeBron James at $583.9 million. He has a total of 3 years and $144.7 million on his current contract remaining. Now, that's a lot of money for a player as old as Durant, but Durant's shown his game is not aging. I mean, he tore his Achilles, and he's still been better than ever. So, I mean, the Rockets are scary this year, guys.
Oh, absolutely, and I think especially something that's key to note is he's given up $30 million in this contract. He could have got that max for around 120, but he wanted to actually have this team have some cap space ability to build around and build a successful franchise. And I think especially for KD's part, I mean, obviously he's gotten a lot of scrutiny for his decisions over the years. I think this is one of his better decisions, and he's like, I want to compete, and especially with Houston, they have the potential. We've talked about this in our Western Conference preview episode. They have a lot of potential, a lot of talent. I mean, you have Sengun in there, obviously, as well. And their roster that released, actually, I think DJ sent it in our chat. It was really interesting. I mean, maybe we'll talk about that another day. But I think really for Houston now, they're all in. And I think really with Ime Udoka, I'm really excited to see how they develop over this current year.
So officially with that lineup, they are going with the big man lineup. It is going to be Amen Thompson, who is 6'7" at point guard, Kevin Durant 6'11" at shooting guard, Jabari Smith Jr. 6'11" at small forward, Alperen Sengun 6'11" at power forward, and Steven Adams 6'11" at the center. So they are going with the big man lineup. But I agree with you what you said, RJ. The one big thing to note that I was going to say was the $30 million that he basically let the Rockets kind of play with for the future. And I think that this is a very young team. Obviously, we did talk about it in previous episodes, how this is like their one veteran that they wish they had last year during their playoff run. Obviously, they were the 2 seed last year. But it was a very young team with a lot of questions, and they finally got that one veteran superstar to kind of lead this team to success. And you kind of saw it during the preseason about how much of an impact that he has had on this team so far, and then honestly earned himself with an extension, which he previously expressed when he first got traded to the Rockets, said he wanted to sign with the Rockets for an extension at some point, and he finally did it.
Yeah, I mean, this Rockets team is built on their defense. We saw that last year. But the one thing that really intrigues me about the Rockets this year, they finally have that go-to guy in Kevin Durant, and they have a solid supporting cast around him. Obviously, Jalen Green played really, really well in the playoffs, but I don't think the Rockets as a franchise could realistically rely on him to win them games, especially in the clutch. We saw that against the Warriors in the first round where they lost in, I think it was 7 games, right? Yeah, it was a great series. But this Durant move really makes me think that they are all in. They do think they can win with KD, and KD, I saw in an interview he said that he wants to retire in Houston. I think he will, honestly. I think at the end of this 2-year deal, if he wants to play, I think he stays there, but ultimately if he chooses to retire, he will be a Rocket. And it's going to be exciting to see what they do with that extra cash. I think they should honestly invest in some shooters, because we saw Fred VanVleet in the playoffs last year kind of carry them scoring-wise when Jalen Green went cold. And that's obviously not a realistic ask of Fred VanVleet. So getting a guy like KD, locking him down for those 2 years, gives those guys to kind of a chance to play together and really develop as a team.
Yeah, Kevin Durant's a University of Texas at Austin graduate, and just being close to where he went to college, where he went to school, was a major part of him. I always felt like, as someone who's followed Kevin Durant since he was on the Thunder, like if he's retiring, he's either going to be for one of the teams in Texas or it's going to be for Washington. It's going to be one of those two. Now the Wizards obviously are in a long-term rebuild, so that's not looking likely, but who knows? As things could happen. I really like the general manager that is over there in Washington. He could turn things around. Will Dawkins, Sam Presti prodigy. And, yeah. But moving on, that's the Portland Trailblazers. They were able to ink up two of their very talented young players in Toumani Camara and Shadon Sharpe to very good value deals. Now, Shadon Sharpe, 4-year, $90 million rookie scale contract, and a 4-year, $82 million extension for Toumani Camara. Now, Camara, $82 million for a guy that was all defensive second team last year in his second year in the NBA. I mean, he can knock down the three-point jumper at times. I mean, that's a really good deal for him. And then not even mentioning Shadon Sharpe, he's my most improved player pick for this season. I mean, if he is able to break out and turn into the scorer that he can, that contract is going to look amazing in a couple of years. Blazers are continuing to do very good work in this rebuild. They have a lot of pieces that can all unite and succeed. And this is just another thing of how they're just really ready. I feel like these two players are going to be part of that core that could potentially compete for a championship in Portland once again. If you think like whenever Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, these two could be the two that are like that in a way in the future. Now, what are your all's takeaways so far?
I mean, I will say, especially for Portland, when you have a younger core like this, I think it's really smart to obviously extend now before later. And the main example I'll give, kind of an NFL term, is kind of what Philadelphia has done, really giving their star players the contract money now, and even especially before they break out, they give them the contracts before the breakout, because then they know later on down the line that money value is going to be worth it by a mile. I think especially for Kamara, for me, is what I'm especially looking at. I mean, as Shams kind of mentioned, I mean, the 9th in steals, and then being one of the 7 players active in the NBA with 100 steals and 50 blocks in a season, which is absolutely incredible. I think especially for Portland, the younger talent, you get them locked up, and what that does especially is also shows your team, we believe in you. We trust these guys. These are one of our, I mean, obviously 2 of your starting 5, and obviously you have Donovan Clinton in there as well. Portland is going to be set up for something special in the future, and I can't wait to watch.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. I was going to mention, like, these deals do show faith that the front office has in this young core, and I think, honestly, adding Drew Holiday and Damian Lillard, obviously he's not playing, but the amount of value they add on an off-court like perspective and on-court, having vets like that to mentor these younger guys is going to be very key for this team's development. And the front office showing faith in these guys by giving them these deals this early. I mean, Kamara showed his flash of greatness last year, and I think it's only going to go up from here. Pairing that with Klingon, that's going to be an unstoppable duo down low for the Blazers. And Shadon Sharpe, I mean, his scoring has only gone up since he's been in the league, and that should continue this year. I think he's due for a breakout.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to mention Damian Lillard and Drew Holiday signing with the Blazers. I think that's really, really good and beneficial to. I think the Damian Lillard signing is more detrimental towards Shadon Sharpe's development, and I think Drew Holiday on the defensive side of the ball is going to be very good for Kamara. And in terms of their extensions, it's crazy to think that Shadon Sharpe, Kamara, and you know how to pronounce it, Denny
Avia.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
The three of them combined are making $57 million a year, which I think is tremendous value, as those three of those players are going to be in your core for the next couple of years, along with Scoot Henderson, along with Donovan Clingan. And I just really think it's a good move, not for this year, but in terms of the future, maybe the next 3-4 years of your franchise. These are your key pieces that you would like to lock up and kind of have it as an established part of your franchise for the upcoming future.
Yeah, I personally love Shaedon Sharpe. I mean, I love the bucket getter type archetype that he is. He's so athletic, and if his three-point shot starts falling again, like I know it can, he's going to be an all-star next year. Well, not going as far as all-star, but you never know. He's going to be at least a borderline all-star next season if his jump shot starts to fall and he does the things that I think he will be doing. And now Toumani Camara, he's entering his third year in the NBA, and he's already one of the top defensive wings in the entire league. That's absurd, and he's just going to get better and better. The 3-and-D player is such a vital role to any team. If you want to win a championship, just look at the Thunder last season. You had 3 on that team. 4 if you want to count Wiggins as a 3-and-D player, but he's more of 3 and OD type guy, but with solid D, I guess. But Dort, Wallace, Caruso, that's 3 really good defenders and three-point shooters that united for a championship core, and teams are going to start wanting to do that more. Toumani Camara is perfect for that. He's going to be their starting small forward for years to come over there in Portland, and him alongside Avia, and that as a 2 wings for this team, and then Shaedon Sharpe obviously as a, I guess, shooting guard type player. It'll be very fun to watch how they grow together. But moving on to the next one, about 2 hours ago as we're recording, Christian Brown agreed to a 5-year, $125 million rookie contract extension with the Denver Nuggets. Now, Christian Brown is another example of how vital a defense and scoring play, like the role player that can play defense, knock down jump shots. He can also make great passes at times as well, is for teams. And alongside Jokic, he just is able to have his game fully unlocked, and it's going to be fun to see how he does for the next 5 years of this deal.
Oh, absolutely, and I think especially for Denver, I mean, for their top executives, it's kind of like a mix. John Wallace, Ben Tenzer, I want to make sure I said that right. But I think really for Denver, what this really shows, especially locking up somebody as crucial of a role as he is, I mean, he's homegrown talent. They drafted him, I believe it was pick number 21 in the draft. That was in 2022. But I think really averaging his 15 or around 15 and a half, 5 and almost 3 assists. I think and also his field goal percentage being 58% is really one of those.
He's so efficient.
You don't see that very
often.
He's
so efficient.
And I think especially for Denver, they realized how important that was. And I mean, he's worth all this deal, mind you, if health and everything is going through, which we obviously hope and pray for. We don't like injuries around here. But I really think for Denver, this is a great deal. I mean, you knew you were going to have to do this, and I think doing it now really saves you that trouble if you waited and then be a what-if scenario, and you don't want to deal with that. You get him under contract while you can, and then you just watch him blossom from here, because I think he could potentially be even better, which for Denver would be just nothing but amazing for them.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned health. I mean, he's only missed 6 games in his whole career. I think that's pretty incredible. But I think the measurement for Denver Nuggets is how well does a player play around Jokic, and how well do they mesh well on the court. And Christian Brown checks all those boxes. He really does. I mean, he's efficient. He can shoot the 3. He can score inside, and he can pass. I mean, all the things you need when playing with Nikola Jokic, especially when he'll either shoot the ball, you need to go get a rebound, you need to give him the ball, or you spot up in the corner and drill a 3. I mean, he does it all for the Denver Nuggets. He's much like a Swiss Army knife for that Nuggets offense, and he's very, very solid on defense, mind you. I mean, he's not a liability. It's going to be interesting to see how the Nuggets can progress in the next 5 years with him under contract.
Yeah, I agree with everything you guys said. I love this signing. I think he was a very key piece in the 2022 Nuggets championship roster, and I think he just kind of blossomed from there. Obviously, Last year you had Russell Westbrook on the Nuggets, and I feel like he was a really good piece to them. And Christian Braun and Russell Westbrook kind of shifted roles between being the sixth man and being a starting shooting guard along Jamal Murray. But I think that this is the year that Christian Braun finally takes that starting shooting guard role to heart, because obviously Russell Westbrook, he is now gone. The Nuggets signed Tim Hardaway Jr., Bruce Brown to kind of back up Christian Braun because they see how much he has evolved into being a star. And I think him, along with Jamal Murray and the newly acquired Cameron Johnson, obviously Nikola Jokic and Aaron Gordon as well, I think this Nuggets team is going to compete this year. I think it is a very well-rounded team, and I think Christian Braun is a very well-rounded player that is a very good fit for this Denver Nuggets team.
Yeah, and last extension that we'll get to, about an hour after Christian Braun was signed, Dyson Daniels, the NBA's most improved player of the year last year and a runner-up to the Defensive Player of the Year award. He was first-team All-Defense, 229 steals last season, was extended by Atlanta, our Hawks, I guess, is how we're going to say, because we're all, well, at least I'm high on the Hawks this year. We were all high on the Trailblazers. But yeah, Dyson Daniels was signed to a 4-year, $100 million rookie contract extension, and big time for the Hawks. They ink up someone who they traded DeJounte Murray for. They ended up winning that trade by a lot. DeJounte Murray obviously got hurt, but the Pelicans are cursed, it feels like, with how much injuries they constantly get. But Dyson Daniels broke out last season and is just going to keep on getting better. He's one of the better Australian prospects we've seen in quite some time, and it's going to be really fun to see what Dyson Daniels does this season.
Oh, I would be excited to watch, see if he even keeps increasing on that production from last season. I mean, you saw what he did in 2023-2024 season. I mean, he's averaging about 5 points, almost near 6 points a game, and also around 3 assists, and we'll say 4 rebounds. And then you switch that to about 6 rebounds, almost about 4.5 assists, and then 14 points a game. I mean, that's why he won the Most Improved Player award. I think especially for Atlanta. I mean, you kind of look at these teams that we've talked about, obviously Denver and then Portland. I mean, you have that younger talent, some of those younger cores that I think really are going to benefit from these contracts. And I think Atlanta especially is going to be one of them. You saw what they had. We talked about them in our offseason our podcast for a reason, because they just made, I think, a lot of great moves. And I think for Atlanta, especially a lockdown, especially with how improved he's been, and seeing that ceiling can keep going. And for Atlanta, it's going to be exciting. They're a fun team to watch. And I mean, if they break out again as a team, as a whole this year, and they keep going, they're going to be up there in the Eastern Conference standings.
Yeah, I mean, this guy averaged 3 steals a game last year. I mean, that's absolutely incredible. I think he's going to end up back on that first-team defense, and that's exactly what this Hawks team needs out of him. I think that the moves they made, you mentioned it, like Kristaps Porzingis, Luke Kennard, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, like this team is deep. Like they added depth. They saw what they had last year. They made the necessary changes, and if they can rely on Dyson Daniels to keep improving, this team is going to be scary for years to come.
Yeah, Dyson Daniels has become a very prevalent player for this Hawks team, and I remember last year before Victor Wembanyama got hurt, it was basically a 2-man race between the blocks leader and the steals leader, because Dyson Daniels was doing very, very well throughout the season in terms of his steal stats and just kept it up. But in terms of his role on this Hawks team, I think he complements Trae Young very, very well, because I think we all know that Trae Young is a very offensive-heavy guard. Obviously, his assist numbers have been going up for years now, and he scores very consistently. So if you have a guard like Trae Young who's very good on the offensive side of the ball, and then you complement it with a guard like Dyson Daniels for a long-term deal, I think that is phenomenal for this Hawks team, especially like Brayden mentioned, with additions like Luke Kennard and Nickeil Alexander-Walker to be those backup point guards and shooting guards on this Hawks roster. I feel like the depth is phenomenal. I feel like Dyson Daniels is going to have an even more prevalent role on this Hawks team, even more than he did last year. He averaged 34 minutes a game and only missed 6 games. So if he can keep up that consistency, no injuries granted, I think this Hawks team can be legit, and I think Dyson Daniels keeps improving year after year.
Yeah, the Atlanta Hawks have a projected depth chart of Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, Zachary Richester, Jalen Johnson, Kristaps Porzingis in the starting lineup, and the second stringers are projected to be Luke Kennard, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Jalen Johnson as a backup small forward as well, Kristaps Porzingis as a backup power forward if, and then Onyeka Okongwu, so projected to see like an 8-man rotation there. Obviously, you have Vit Kreshki and Asa Newell, Muhammad Gay also as the reserves on that team. Vit Kreshki had a solid season last year, a former Thunder draft pick. Kreshki, really intriguing prospect right there, but it's going to be a fun year for the Atlanta Hawks this year. We all feel it, and that is it when it comes to contract extensions. But one last thing of breaking news, the Milwaukee Bucks. So they cut last season's second-round pick, Tyler Smith. The last draft pick the Milwaukee Bucks have had that has been signed to a second contract was Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's ridiculous, but I just wanted to hit on that for a second, but we're going to move on to some preseason positives. Javon Small. This is a WVU-based podcast. We all go to West Virginia University, and Javon Small is a rookie out of West Virginia. He transferred to WVU under head coach Darren DeVries from Oklahoma State last season and carried that team to the point that they almost were in a tournament single-handedly, pretty much. The coach wasn't doing anything. He was just sitting on the sideline, has the assistant did most of the work. But enough talking about that university. He had a solid showing in preseason, especially in those last two games. And after Scottie Pippen Jr. is projected to be out for about 12 weeks, is it?
Yeah.
He has a chance to be the number one backup point guard for Ja Morant this season. And if you just look at these final two games of preseason against Charlotte, he scored 18 points on 6 of 9 shooting, 5 of 6 from three-point range with 8 assists and 4 rebounds, along with 1 block. Against Miami in the final preseason game in a win, he scored 16 points on 6 of 8 shooting, 4 of 5 from three-point land, with 5 assists and 1 rebound. He's looked pretty good. As a second-round pick, he's starting on a 2-way contract, but as a lot of second-round rookies do. But it's going to be interesting to see if he ends up carving himself a role with this very loaded backcourt of the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah, I'll be really curious, especially, I mean, we talked about it here just a couple seconds ago, that increased role, and I think especially for a younger player, especially now a rookie, I mean, his preseason averages, he's averaging almost 11, 6, and 2 per game in the preseason. Now, if you can obviously get similar of that production, especially this upcoming season, I think will be really huge for Memphis as a whole, but especially his development, I think being such a late pick in that, well, yeah, it was that second round. I think really for Memphis, I mean, it could be a hidden gem. I mean, you see some of these prospects that get these bigger deals, like we just talked about, all the young guys like Christian Braun, for example, just like some of those guys taking not in like that lottery range, and that can still go on to have great careers in the NBA. And I think, you never know. I'm not saying like it's like going to happen guaranteed, but it's very possible, especially with this role, and we'll have to see how he handles that throughout the regular season.
Yeah, obviously I'm really high on Javon Small. We saw his scoring ability in college here at WVU, and it looks to be translating really well into the NBA. 4 turnovers against Charlotte, obviously not ideal, but he comes back around with 8 assists. So you see the vision from Javon Small. He loves to get teammates involved. I think that will play really nice into carving a role with this Memphis Grizzlies team. I think a backup to Ja Morant's going to be a crucial part of playmaking because obviously Ja Morant loves to get downhill, attack the bigs, attack the rim, and then switching it up with Javon Small off the bench could be really, really nice for Memphis, kind of switch the pace up, kind of throw the defense off a little bit. And who knows, we might see Ja and Javon on the court together at times this season.
Yeah, I'm really pleased with how Javon Small played this preseason. I think it was pretty solid. He got 26 minutes per game. He played 4 games. I think he did pretty good for the time he was given. Obviously, RJ mentioned he basically averaged 11, 2, and 6. One thing to mention, he basically shot 60% from the three-point line. I think he was very consistent from that range. Averaged about 2.5 makes off of 4.3 attempts per game. I think the only thing he really needs to kind of fix in his game, obviously, Brayden mentioned it, was the turnovers. He averaged 2.8 turnovers per game. So if he can get that off, I think he's going to be a very good piece for this Memphis Grizzlies team. And I'm looking at the depth chart right now. Looks like Ty Jerome might be injured to start the season.
He, in the final preseason game, he had a really nasty-looking calf injury that they're saying it's calf. Since a day ago, they said he's going to have further evaluation on it. But since they haven't announced Achilles yet, that means usually if it's Achilles, they tell you right away. But he's definitely will not be playing in the first week. So Javon is by far that backup guard. right now.
I see it's Ty Jerome, and the only other person that is really up there is Cam Spencer. But I really don't think. I think Javon Small can beat him out. I think that Javon Small, especially. Unfortunately, like we were talking about the injuries, it didn't even look like Javon Small was going to make this roster at one point with Ty Jerome, with Scottie Pippen Jr., with Cedric Coward and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. But obviously with some of the injuries, this could be a time that Javon Small gets his name called. And for a shocking beginning of the season role for this Memphis Grizzlies team, I think I'm really excited to see his name pop up on some of the game stats here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, Javon Small was signed to a two-way contract, which usually means spend some time with the G League team, see what you do, get a call up at times, and then you can play. But with the amount of injuries, Scottie Pippen Jr. is already out. Ty Jerome is looking to be out. John Morant is projected to play opening night. That was announced today. But, if John Morant wasn't playing, that means Javon Small would probably be starting for this team in the first game of the season. But, he's going to have a key role already as a rookie in the second round. This is a Memphis Grizzlies team that's been decimated by the injury bug already. Just looking at that center rotation, but Zach Edey and Brandon Clark are out. So you're looking at either Jaren Jackson Jr. having to be pushed down to center, which usually tends to not work very well, and having Santi Aldama or Vince Williams Jr. play that power forward position, or Jock Landale starting at center for this Grizzlies team at the start of the season. So whatever happens, just know this Grizzlies team, very strong roster on paper, but they always tend to catch the injury bug ever since they looked so promising a couple of years ago before all this stuff with John Morant came out, before John Morant, after all that stuff, got injured, before Dylan Brooks was Dylan Brooks, everything. Draymond Green once said to Dylan Brooks, the dynasty starts after you, not with you. But it turns out it started either with him or without him for this Grizzlies team. That's just how it is. I'm not trying to be rude. But moving on, we have a debut of 2 new segments is what we're going to be doing for the rest of this.
Before we break in, I think Topps announced this today, and I thought it was really cool.
Oh, yeah.
And it affects all of us on this podcast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
I'll read out the tweet. It says, breaking. 3 players will wear a gold NBA logo man this season. And basically what it was for 3 of the key award winners, which is Shea, SGA for MVP, Stephon Castle for DJ Rookie of the Year, and then for me and Brayden, Evan Mobley, Defensive Player of the Year. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I think it's kind of exciting because you see in these sports leagues now, I think especially NBA and NFL, like the NFL has the debut patches as well. Those were new this year. I think it's really cool. I don't know, a big jersey guy. I thought it was a shout. I think it's a really cool touch. It kind of shows that it's kind of like almost the Walter Payton Man of the Year patch, like that little gold, but I think it'll be on the back of the jersey. I think it'll be really cool.
Yeah, the MLB was first with the debut patches, and then the NFL adopted it. Now the NBA is adopting it this year, and now they have the gold patches. There's going to be a lot of gold on Shea's jersey this year with the Champions thing on the back too. But it's always fun whenever they add another incentive to an award. Start giving them to the Clutch Player of the Year too. That instead of gold, give the Clutch Player of the Year silver, because
ice.
Yeah, like ice in the veins.
That'd be awesome.
Yep. Yeah, but debut of 2 new segments. The first one, Rookie Roundtable. Each week we're gonna bring up a new rookie that has impressed us so far with the last few weeks of action. This isn't going to be a every week thing. It's going to be every other week thing. Since I'd say we'd probably get to the end of the rookie class by January if we did this every week. But Guys, pick one rookie who impressed you during preseason action.
Well, I think for me this one's pretty obvious, but I mean it just really impressed me, especially with his role. And for Philadelphia this year, VJ Edgecombe, my goodness, he's going to be good. I think he really has that potential, and I mean he's going to be up there with Cooper Flagg for Rookie of the Year. He averaged about north of 16 and a half, 3.7 assists and 4.7 rebounds in this entire preseason. And I think for really in his role, I mean obviously with the injuries that they've had and this past year, and I think potentially that could also affect this year. I think his role will be a lot more elevated than some might think. So I think VJ Edgecombe has that potential to be a really good player in the NBA this season, and especially for being a rookie, he's been doing his job so far. He's been balling, and he's been really impressing me.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Ace Bailey. I think he's been really, really solid for the Utah Jazz. He literally had 25 points on 69% shooting against the Rockets, and then the next night had 20 points on 62% shooting against the Spurs, where they did lose. But, I mean, if you're the Utah Jazz, I know I had them in the play-in. I don't think that's honestly really going to happen. But
Hey, don't sit on it yet. The season's not begun yet. You never know.
I'm speaking for Jazz fans here. I think you're just looking for any glimpse of hope, and I think Ace Bailey has done that so far, at least throughout the preseason.
Yeah, so I was also going to go Ace Bailey. But as a little pickup, I'm going to go with Nick Clifford for the Kings. I think he played really well throughout his 4 games. He averaged 14.3 points and 4.5 assists and topped out at 19 points and 9 assists in one of his games. He is 23 years old, but I think especially with how many questions that this Kings team, we were kind of mentioning it before, it is a kind of very questionable roster. I think that's the way that Cody put it. Just with a lot of veterans and unproven young guys on that team. Obviously, you have Malik Monk, Russell Westbrook, Dennis Schroeder, and I think if Nick Clifford kind of translates his performances in the preseason to the regular season, that could be another role player that the Kings have going forward.
Yeah, I'm going to do a homer take here and go with Brooks Barnhizer because he really surprised me. I was not that happy whenever the Thunder picked Brooks Barnhizer when Javon Small was still on the board. And he's looking like he's going to have a big role this year, like at least at the start of the year in this Thunder rotation, the rotation of a team that is returning majority of its players from coming off a championship last season, mainly due a lot of players are injured for the Thunder. Jalen Williams, Alex Caruso, Isaiah Joe, A.J. Mitchell, Kenrick Williams, all have question marks next to their name going into the opening week. They're saying Jalen Williams isn't even close to coming back yet. Kenrick Williams had surgery. Nikola Topic had a testicular procedure. Isaiah Joe injured his knee during a couple. I believe it was against the Pacers. It was in the game against the Pacers. He didn't play in the preseason game after that. A.J. Mitchell injured his ankle against the Pacers. Hasn't played since. Alex Caruso in the final preseason game against the Nuggets, he injured his ankle, and there's a question mark next to his name for this opening night. So that leaves a big pathway for Brooks Barnhizer to be in a big role in the Thunder rotation at the start of the year and during preseason. He in 6 games played, 30 minutes a night. He averaged 9.5 points, 6.7 rebounds, 1.8 assists, 2 steals, and 0.2 blocks while shooting 43% from field goal range and 41.7% from three-point land. And this is a guy who I won't take it lightly. His jump shot was very ugly during college at Northwestern, and it's already looking a lot better because the Thunder, with shooting coach Chip England, the historic coach, has spent a lot of time with the San Antonio Spurs, is the one that fixed Kawhi Leonard's jump shot whenever he was there, has done the same thing with every single role player on the Thunder. Whether Lugan Stort went from a 29% three-point shooter to the rookie to a back-to-back seasons of 40% from behind the arc, and it looks to be the same thing for Brooks Barnhizer. He's looking to be a really solid shooter at the start of the year, and what he brings on the defensive end is exactly what the Thunder culture fits, and it'll be really interesting to see how he plays at the start of the year. He's another two-way contract player, and don't be shocked if you see Brooks Barnhizer on headlines after opening night whenever he does something against the Houston Rockets jumbo lineup that they're doing that just catches eyeballs, I guess. But yeah, that's the debut of Rookie Roundtable. That's a nice name I thought of in 2 seconds. I felt like having a double R would be nice. But now we're going to go on to National Pick'ems, where every week we will be picking all the national TV games for that week, as well as what I would like to call the Flop Factor official League Pass game of the week, which is just whatever game that I feel like may be the closest that's not, on NBC, Amazon Prime, or ESPN. But to start us out, the opening night, Thunder Rockets. We're gonna first go. We're just gonna say whoever's gonna win, give a reason, and also, if you want to, add a player that you think in this game you could throw out in a daily fantasy sports lineup, and they're gonna make some noise for this team, because we do not condone gambling here, but DFS is a little bit in play.
Yeah, I mean, obviously starting off with a Thunder Rockets at 7:30, it's banner night, as Cody mentioned earlier on the podcast. But I think the Oklahoma City Thunder will protect business on home court at the Paycom Center and get the victory against the Houston Rockets. And I think especially for me, it goes to just depth. I mean, Oklahoma City is known for their depth. I mean, obviously, Cody, you talked about the 3-and-D player and how efficient that was to winning a championship. I mean, the Thunder, they are one of the best teams in the NBA for a reason, for having that level of talent all across the floor. So I'm going to go with Oklahoma City, but would not be shocked if Houston keeps it a little bit close.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the Thunder here. I do think the Rockets, as you mentioned, will keep it close. I think banner night is a little bit emotional. You're kind of celebrating what you did last year. But I do think that this Thunder team has all eyes on this year, all eyes on repeating. And I do think that they will get the win due to part their defense. I think that this team obviously was built on defense. Obviously, you got Lou Dort, Chet Holmgren, even SGA can play a little bit of D. He's a very solid defender. But yeah, I do think the Thunder will come out victorious here. And I'm just going to take SGA. I think that he's going to obviously put up some big numbers again this year and start it off strong.
Yeah, I'm going to keep with you guys. I am also going to say the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think that I think that NBA fans should be excited for this matchup later in the season. I think that this Thunder team is very similar to how it was last year. I think the Thunder will protect their home court today. But once this Rockets team kind of gets their chemistry going, I'm really excited to see how this matchup will play later on in the season when the Rockets let's see how their big man rotation will go, because who knows, maybe the Thunder will just purely dominate off of that. Nobody knows what's going to happen with this big man rotation that they just announced, but I'm going to take the Thunder here to defend home court. I think that the Rockets do keep it close, but I'm excited to see, because I think this is still going to be a repeat 1-2 Western Conference leaders this year, and I'm excited to see how it pans out for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Oklahoma City as well. I just feel like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the defense will be enough to defeat this Houston Rockets team. Now, the guy that the Thunder usually throw out to play to defend Kevin Durant is Jalen Williams, and he's still listed as day-to-day. But assuming from the fact that during media day he said he's still a ways to go from surgery, he's starting to dribble with both hands, but during shoot-arounds he's just been shooting lefty. And so who knows when Jalen Williams could come back from injury. So I'm just going to assume he's not going to be playing in this game. And as well as him, Alex Caruso, Isaiah Joe, A.J. Mitchell are all listed as day-to-day. And Nikola Topic, Kenrick Williams, and Thomas Sorber are all listed as out. Now, Thomas Sorber, the rookie center, is out for the season with an ACL tear. But there's a lot of injuries. But I feel the Thunder's depth, that's what got them in this spot to begin with. You still have Chet Holmgren. You still have Isaiah Hartenstein. You still have Shai. You still got Lou Dort, Cason Wallace. That's your core right there. Outside of Caruso and Williams, that's your core right there. And I think that there'll be a close game, but I think the defense and the reigning MVP will keep this game close. Will win this game for the Thunder. And for a DFS player, Aaron Wiggins. Whenever Jalen Williams does not see the court, Aaron Wiggins is the guy that comes into that starting lineup, and when he starts, he can score points quickly. So if you want to have a nice, cheap option right there, Aaron Wiggins is your guy. Now moving on to the next one, Lakers, Warriors. Let's go.
Yeah, I forgot to mention a player for OKC versus the Rockets. I'm going to go Isaiah Hartenstein. I mean, just his physicality. But we'll talk about this game now. Warriors and Lakers. This one will be very interesting to me. And the reason why, I'm going to go with the Golden State Warriors. And for me especially, I mean, we kind of saw it in the playoffs and how they kind of handled Houston in a very competitive series. And especially for me, I mean, for Jimmy Butler and not having LeBron for the Lakers also obviously will make an impact. But I will say, especially for Golden State, I mean, you have Curry, you have Draymond, you have that core that's been there. They know how to play together. And I think with Jimmy Butler, I think they unlocked a lot of that potential. So I'm going to go with Golden State in a tight one. And my main player to watch will be Jimmy Butler because of how he's affected the team, especially after that trade deadline.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Lakers here. I think that this revamped kind of roster in a way that kind of bolstered down that center position, and I think we will see that pay off early. I think that Luka is going to go off, and may I add, this will be the start of his MVP campaign, in my opinion. I think that he's going to get off to a nice start, but the player to watch for me is going to be DeAndre Ayton. I think that we know when Luka gets downhill, he always looks for a lob threat or a dish off to that center position, and I think DeAndre Ayton's going to fill that role really, really well.
Yeah, I'm going with the exact same mindset as Brayden. I'm going to take the Lakers here, and I am very, very high on Luka Doncic. As last episode, I did say that he is my MVP pick for the season. I think one big thing to note is that Warriors projected starting shooting guard Moses Moody is going to be out for this game, so Buddy Hield will be going into that shooting guard position instead of coming off the bench. But like I said, I'm going to take the Lakers here. Lakers starting lineup came out. It is going to be Luka Doncic, Gabe Vincent, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, and DeAndre Ayton. I think my player to watch out for is going to be Luka Doncic. I think he is going to have a phenomenal day, and I think he is going to be the main factor in why the Lakers get this win over the Warriors. And don't be shocked to see Gabe Vincent kind of have a decent day after his good preseason performances.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Golden State Warriors in this game. This is going to be a really good one. So if you live in an Eastern time zone, um, it's worth the risk of staying up and until like 1 a.m. to see the end of this one because it's going to be a great matchup. Luka Doncic, Stephen Curry, Jimmy Butler. Obviously, no LeBron James, but I just think this Warriors team is built to be contenders once again this season. Whenever Jimmy Butler joined the squad last year, they became immediately a top 3 defense in the entire NBA just with a snap of the fingers. And whenever you have Horford, Green, and Butler all in the same front court, it's hard to really score on you at times. And now, for a player to watch, an X factor, Buddy Hield. At the start of seasons for the past couple of years, Buddy Hield has started red hot, and I see that exact thing happening once again against the Lakers. Now moving on, Cavs Knicks. It's the next game, and next day you have the 2 games Tuesday night, and you have a bunch of games on Wednesday.
Yeah, this will be a fun game in Madison Square Garden. For me, especially, I'm looking at the small forward matchup. And the reason why I say that, Brayden, we were kind of talking about it before we were recording. DeAndre Hunter might not play for the Cavs, and they're already facing a small forward issue and having Darius Garland out. It's a lot of injuries there to begin the season, and it's in Madison Square Garden, which for me is a big factor in how the Cavs play. So I'm going to take the Knicks in a very, very close game. And, I mean, even OG Anunoby is having injuries himself. I believe it's an ankle for him. I'm going to go into the assumption that he is playing because as of right now he's had a rest. He didn't play the last preseason game on Friday. So I think he will play. And for that reason, especially dominating that small forward position, I'm going to go with him as my player. I'm going to go with the New York Knicks in a close one.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the Knicks here. I think that the lack of size and scoring in this lineup right now is kind of worrying for me, especially with how good the Knicks are and how they bolstered their roster. So I'm going to actually take Jordan Clarkson off the bench to go a little crazy for the Knicks against the Cavs here. The Knicks win in a tight one.
Yeah, I'm going to stay on this Knicks train. I'm also going to take the Knicks over the Cavaliers. I just think that there are too many injuries so far. Obviously, in the Eastern Conference episode, I picked Knicks Cavaliers as my 1-2 at the top of the Eastern Conference. But in their first match of the season, I'm going to take the Knicks. I think that this is another matchup, kind of like the Thunder Rockets, where this is a matchup that you're going to want to watch later down in the season, later down the line when both teams kind of have their chemistry squared away. But in terms of opening night, second night technically. I'm going to take the Knicks here, and I think my player to watch is Karl Anthony Towns. I think he is going to have a day on Jarrett Allen. Obviously, Jarrett Allen is known for his defense, but I think the Knicks have too much depth to overcome this Cleveland Cavaliers team.
Yeah, I'm gonna save the graphic, I guess. I'm gonna go with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell tends to do good against New York, and even though Darius Garland's obviously not playing, there's a chance DeAndre Hunter won't play. I just feel that the Cavs will win a very close game against the New York Knicks. My player to watch is going to be Donovan Mitchell still, because I try to go for like the cheaper ones because like obviously you're gonna play Donovan Mitchell, but I feel that if you want a expensive player, Donovan Mitchell is that guy. I'm right now pulling up his stats last season against the New York Knicks, but he tends to succeed. In 19 games against the New York Knicks in his career, he's averaged 25.1 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 5.4 assists and 4.5 rebounds, while shooting 39.3% from three. And since he's joined Cleveland, he's averaged 29.1 points, 5.8 assists, and 4.3 rebounds in 9 games against the Cavaliers, while shooting a whopping 51.9% from the field and 44.8% from three. You're going to want to have Donovan Mitchell in any lineups you play. Now, then this next one, DJ, Victor Wembanyama versus Cooper Flagg, the debut of the young man. That's going to be a fun one.
This is going to be so exciting. I will definitely be keeping my eye on this game. You're having, Anthony Davis, Cooper Flagg, and Derek Lively try and take on the challenge of guarding Victor Wembanyama. I'm so excited. And even D'Angelo Russell being at that point guard slot for Dallas as well, and a new revamped, a little bit of a revamped lineup for them, I think will be really interesting. And now seeing San Antonio finally fully healthy, what can they do? I'll be really excited to see as well. It's going to be a close matchup. It's kind of one of those coin flip games, but you know what? I'll give DJ the benefit. I'm going to go the San Antonio Spurs. I think they'll probably pull out a very, very close one in American Airlines.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Mavericks here. I think that once De'Aaron Fox comes back for the Spurs, it's going to be a whole new ballgame for San Antonio. That's not to take away from any of their younger guards, but I just think with D'Angelo Russell kind of taking over that point guard role until Kyrie comes back is going to be huge for the Mavericks. And seeing how Cooper Flagg does, he's going to have a tough task trying to score on Victor Wembanyama. Anthony Davis, it's going to be interesting to see if he can stay healthy. But my player to watch is actually going to be D'Angelo Russell. I think that he's going to try to find his role early and take a lot of shots and hopefully make them.
Yeah, you guys already know who I'm picking. I'm picking the San Antonio Spurs. I think this game is obviously going to be a very good game, as we mentioned, but I think injuries is taking away a De'Aaron Fox versus Kyrie Irving matchup, so I'm excited to see that later on in the season once both of those guys are back and healthy. The Spurs will be missing Jeremy Sohan as well, but I'm still going to take the Spurs. I think that both teams have phenomenal big man depth. Obviously, you have the Mavericks with Anthony Davis, Daniel Gafford, and Derek Lively, and then you have the Spurs with Victor Wembanyama, Luke Cornett, and Kelly Olynyk. I think this game is going to be very back and forth, and I think it is going to come down to the wire, but I think the Spurs pull it out in a close one, and my player to watch is going to be second-year Gold Patch Rookie of the Year, Stephon Castle. I think he is going to have a very good day. I think it's going to be a very good day for him and Cooper Flagg, both of them at that small forward position. But I'm excited to watch this game. I'm excited for the Spurs to finally be back and for Victor to finally be back. It's been about a year since I've watched him play, so I'm excited to watch this game, and I'm excited to watch the Spurs win.
Yeah, the return of Victor Wembanyama, I can't go against the San Antonio Spurs here. I'm going to pick San Antonio. Now, obviously, the advice we're giving for players to watch is for your fantasy leagues with your friends. We don't condone any playing games for money here on this podcast. But, the Spurs' entire team is going to be really strong this season. I love Dylan Harper. I love that pick. I believe he should be starting right now. He will be?
With De'Aaron Fox being out, he is going to start. Will he start when De'Aaron Fox is back at that shooting guard position? Nobody knows, but right now he's going to get the starting nod against D'Angelo Russell.
Well, I was really confused for a second because of how they had Jordan McLaughlin higher than him on the...
Really?
Yeah, ESPN has Jordan McLaughlin higher on the point guard depth chart currently for some reason, but I love Devin Vassell.
I'd be shocked if he even gets PT.
I know. He barely even played last year.
Yeah.
But... I'm going with Harrison Barnes. I feel like he can score at big times and big rates sometimes, and I just can't see anyone guarding Harrison Barnes on this Dallas Mavericks team. I mean, they have a very tall front court, and Harrison Barnes is going to find a mismatch every once in a while. Now moving on to the next game, Thunder Pacers, the NBA Finals rematch.
Yeah, this will be really exciting, but the only problem here for Indiana is I've been looking through their depth chart. I mean, you have Andrew Nembhard starting there at point guard. After that, according to ESPN's depth chart, McConnell's out with an injury, hamstring. It's about a month. Quentin Jackson will not be playing, and obviously the situation with Cam Jones ongoing. Their next backup point guard is Ray J. Dennis. So for me and that reason, especially that Oklahoma City has great guard depth, I mean, I'm going to have to go with the Thunder here. I mean, I would not be shocked if this game is unfortunately not as close as some might expect due to, obviously, the Halliburton injury. Like, yes, we talked about that, but this is a whole depth chart issue. So, you know what? I'll give it to Case and Wallace. I'll go the backup because I think especially once that bench play gets in there, I think that's where Oklahoma City will dominate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also going to go Oklahoma City here. Obviously, the loss of Miles Turner is huge for Indianapolis or Indiana, and I'm going to take Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Thunder here pretty handedly, kind of like RJ said. I think the Pacers are just too injured right now, and it's going to be a different-looking team from their NBA Finals team last year. I think the Thunder I think it's going to be a pretty boring Finals rematch just to start the season. Who knows what happens when they play later on January 23rd. But I'm going to take the Thunder here. My player to watch is actually going to be on the Pacers side of the ball. It's going to be Benedict Mathurin. I think he's going to be an offensive playmaker, and I think he's going to be the only really good part of that Indiana Pacers team in that game against Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Thunder as well, and I just feel the injuries are too much for Indiana to handle. I mean, even T.J. McConnell's probably not going to play in this game, so kind of hard to pick the Pacers at all. But for my player to watch, Luguentz Dort has averaged 19.4 points and 6.4 rebounds in his career against the Pacers. So, got to go with Lou. Now, moving on to Nuggets Warriors, the final game until we will get to our League Pass game of the week. Going to be a fun one out there in Golden State.
It will be a very fun one at the Chase Center in San Francisco, but I'm going to go with the Warriors. Some might call an upset, but I mean, we talked about it earlier. Golden State's defense ever since acquiring Jimmy Butler, and now especially having Al Horford as well, combined with Draymond Green. I think that front court effort, I say, especially defensively, for me, will be the main reason and matchup why I picked Golden State in such a close game. I mean, we don't condone gambling. We've mentioned that probably 80 times. But with that line being 1.5, I mean, you could honestly say either team for this matchup, but I'm going to go with Golden State.
Very high on the Warriors.
I am.
I like it. I'm going to go Denver, though. I think that this team, obviously just now locking up Christian Brown, the departure of Russell Westbrook, but you bring in Cameron Johnson from the Brooklyn Nets to play that KCP or Michael Porter Jr., MPJ, my bad, to play that role. I think that's going to be light years ahead of what they had.
Yeah, I'm the complete opposite of RJ. I am not high on the Warriors, not at all. I am high on Steph Curry. Obviously, nobody can deny his game, but I am not high on the Warriors at all, and I don't have them. I have them being a fringe play-in team this year. But a team that I am very high on the Nuggets, team that I am very high on is the Denver Nuggets. I think they are going to be very successful this season, and obviously we talked about the Christian Brown contract extension earlier. I think the Nuggets get this game pretty handedly against the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of what the Nuggets did this offseason. All their signings were wonderful. All the trades they made were wonderful. And I'm going to go with one of those trades they made this offseason as my player to watch. I think Cameron Johnson will have a big day for Denver as they defeat the Golden State Warriors. Now, for our League Pass game of the week, you have a Friday night light matchup against the Celtics and Knicks. Now, I decided to be nice and pick a good matchup. Now, some weeks I may pick the Hornets versus Wizards because that would be fun. But Celtics, Knicks, big time matchup in the Eastern Conference semifinal rematch, and now obviously Jaylen Brown will be leading the charge for the Celtics in this game without Jason Tatum.
Yeah, I'm going to go with New York, and I think we mentioned him earlier, but Jordan Clarkson, for me, that addition for New York is such a big one for me. So I think especially for New York, hey, they're playing in the Garden, but, my reason is going to be that depth. him and Miles McBride, and you even have Josh Hart in there. So I think I'm going to go with the New York Knicks, and I wouldn't be shocked this one gets a tiny bit out of hand.
Yeah, a player to watch for me on the Knicks is Karl Anthony Towns. How do you say Boston's starting center's name? Neemias Queta? Is that how you say it?
It's Queta. I'm
Queta?
trying to find his actual spelling out of his name so I can.
Yeah, it's Queta.
I think the
name is Queta. Name is Queta.
I think that reason alone gives it to the Knicks. But
Bro.
honestly, I just think that Karl Anthony Towns will have a day against this Celtics defense.
You know what? I'm going to save the graphic here. I'm going to go with the Boston Celtics, and it was because of a report I saw today that Tom Thibodeau was at the Celtics practice today. Jaylen Brown said that Tom Thibodeau was great to have at practice because he told them why the Knicks beat the Celtics and why or some of the keys that they need to kind of change. So Jaylen Brown mentioned how nice it was to have him there. He said, if you're humble enough to listen, it'll allow you to grow. And I think the Celtics grow here and beat the Knicks.
You realize he's not the coach anymore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I realize. Yeah, but he was the coach last year. I'm just saying.
He was a coach to beat them.
Huh? Yeah,
he was a coach to beat them.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant when that was the main thing. Tom Thibodeau said, "Yeah, this is why we beat you guys last year, even though I'm not on the team." Of course, he wouldn't go to the practice if he was still on the New York Knicks.
I'm just saying, yeah.
I'm just saying. I think Jaylen Brown. That's my player to watch. Is Jaylen Brown because I think he's going to have a day.
Yeah, but Tom Thibodeau was actually also at the Thunder practice 2 days ago. Funny enough, so he's just making stops around the league because he's unemployed right now and is still making money because of his buyout. But good on him. Tom Thibodeau had a very nice time with the Knicks and led them to very big things. But that doesn't mean I'm going to pick against the Knicks. I'm going to pick the Knicks for this game. Celtics, I just want to see how they look without Jason Tatum before I can really say anything about them, since the lineup, especially that center rotation, is not looking too hot. The Knicks, well, they're they're a potential number one seed in the East this year. Jalen Brunson. I feel like Mikal Bridges will have a better season than he did last year, and I think Karl Anthony Towns, I'm just going to repeat what Brayden said. It's hard to see Karl Anthony Towns not going off against this Boston Celtics front court. But that will do it. But we will do one quick game. Now, it's a nice game of Where He At. The final version of Where He At for preseason. I'm going to the current point totals. DJ has 4 points, Brayden has 3 points, RJ has 2 points. So we're going to do 4 players today. So RJ has a chance of winning, Brayden has a chance of winning, and DJ has a chance to secure his spot as victorious for the preseason round of Where He At. We will do this once again during the trade deadline season as our good friends at Inside the NBA do with Charles Barkley, but this is me doing this with you three. Let me find a player that you all will.
Jeez, you did all this leading up and didn't have a player ready? Come on, man.
I'm trying to find a really good one. Pat Connaughton.
Oh, God.
Pacers?
Nope.
Still the Bucks?
Because he was from Milwaukee, I was about to say. East or West, so I make sure I can not look like it. Okay, now we're just going to keep...
East.
Oh.
North or south?
No. Hawks?
No. It's in the same area as the Hawks.
Hornets?
Yes. Brayden gets a point.
He stole my guess.
Brayden is now tied at 4 with DJ. And 4-4-2. Even we have 3 left. RJ, if you win out, you still can bring home the title.
That's not happening, man. Come on. Let's be real here.
All right. Let's try to give you all a layup.
No, go the fun picks. Those are usually the better ones.
Okay, Javon Carter.
Chicago Bulls.
He's been on the
RJ. I was trying to trick it up. A guy that stayed with the team.
All right.
Javon Carter is still on Chicago now.
Former
It's
Mountaineer.
4-4-3. Haywood Highsmith.
The Grizzlies?
He left the Heat this offseason.
Really?
Yes.
in the West.
He is still in the East.
Hawks.
No.
76ers.
No.
Miss input, I swear. Detroit.
Nope. He does feel like a Detroit type.
I
of
know.
player.
That's why I
that's
guessed
true.
it.
Can we get a hint?
No.
No.
Very
Give it-
bad team. There we go.
Very bad team?
In the East?
Yep.
Like, how bad we talking? Can I help
Very.
you?
Wizards.
No.
Oh, my God. Charlotte again. Oh. The Nets.
RJ Rice. RJ Rice is on a heater.
Come on.
RJ Rice is on a heater.
Oh, my God.
The Wheeling University product.
Dude, that's insane.
Haywood Highsmith. There's always a West Virginia connection.
So that's the hint for the last one, then.
No, there's not. There's not another West Virginia player.
Unfortunately.
All right.
Well, it's Miles
this is
McBride.
well, yeah, but we all know that McBride's on the Knicks.
That's fair.
This one's for everything.
This is insane.
Gary Harris.
Magic.
Raptors.
Bucks.
Brayden Laszlo is the champion.
Oh, man.
Brayden Laszlo takes home the title despite a late comeback attempt from RJ. DJ was up and did not get a single point. All he needed to do was all he needed to do was get one.
We kept
all
it.
he needed to do was get one.
We
And he
kept
did
it.
not.
We kept it hashtag respectable.
I got all 4 of my points in episode 2.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Episode 2.
But yeah, this is a
Merchant.
nice way to end this episode of Flop Factor. Please enjoy those games on NBC and Peacock. The debut of the return of the NBA on NBC. The theme music is still the same.
Dude, it's awesome.
Everything's back. Everything's back how it should be. Long to live TNT. But hey, thank you all for getting this far. This is our longest episode to this point of 1 hour and 6 minutes straight of hoops coverage.
Dang.
Now, get ready for Banner Night tomorrow on the NBA on NBC. Thank you guys for listening. For me, Cody Burton, DJ McDermott, Brayden Laszlo, RJ Rice, we are signing off.